Shalom, miserable humans. Yeah, I'm now ranking the forums of the Winx Club, just like all the Winx content creators. I know it's cliche, but I do what I want to do. After all, I'm not likely to become a big YouTuber, even though I'd love to, so I might as well just make things I enjoy and want to do. Just like how I rank the different forms of the tricks, I will be basing this mostly on the looks, but I will take into account things like spells, how the forms fit in with the plot and lore of the show, transformation sequences, and the songs. However, the way the form looks is the biggest factor in this ranking. There is more to work with here than the trick, so it makes for a ranking video that is a lot more fun. I will be including Dreamix and Onyrix from World of Winx, but I won't be including Charmix or the special Believix wings because of how they are just boosters and not legit transformation forms, and both Sophix and Lovix will just count as part of Believix. I will also use this as a way to shamelessly promote my Winx Club edits because of how I have no shame. Side note, I also made Brandon and Helia fairies in my version, so I'll show their forms as well. So without any further delay, let's get to it. I don't think anyone is surprised about this, because this form is universally considered the worst transformation. Part of that reason is because of how it's a form that only appears in 3D. I hate Winx Club in 3D in general, because it doesn't suit the characters. It's another case of why most of the time it's not a good idea to put 2D characters in a 3D setting. They weren't designed for the medium, and it shows. The characters look plastic and lifeless and creepy. It doesn't help that the designs of the outfits aren't really suited for fairy tales and feels more like they're wearing ugly 80s prom dresses. The worst ones are Bloom and Flora's, and the most quote-unquote decent looking of the bunch is Aisha. The only great things about the designs are the wings, which are among some of the best wings the girls have ever had, especially Bloom and Aisha. The designs actually look cute in 2D, nothing amazing, but definitely look infinitely better than they did in 3D. The Bloom's dress still looks hideous. I agree with Rosy Vision that they should have all been modeled after fairy tale characters. Also, you should check out Rosy Vision's content because it's great. Anyway, I feel like Bloom should have been Cinderella because of the connection to cinders, which are part of fire. Stella should have been Rapunzel, mainly because of the Disney version, which is connected to the sun, and later the moon in the amazing TV series. Laura should have been Beauty from Beauty and the Beast because of the whole Rose thing and her massive kindness. Also, her name is Beauty in the original fairy tale, so no, I'm not forgetting Belle's name. Musa should have been the Pied Piper because of her music powers. Tekna should have been Tinkerbell because of her tinkering skills and intelligence. And yes, I'm basing this mostly on the Disney Fairies version, fight me. And Aisha should have been the Little Mermaid, only without turning into sea foam. Also, if we're including Roxy with the 7th wand, I'd say Odette from Swan Lake because she's the fairy of animals, and Odette literally turns into an animal. The spells are the worst bunch, with them being just generic energy beings with heinous spell names like Bravery Flame,
Rising Flame! Bravery Flames! Evergreen Glow! Bright Star! Water Rising Ray!
It also feels like the Winx are weaker in this form because of how they're getting their kicked easily without much effort from whatever monster of the week they're fighting. The wands have nice designs, but the fact that they were already tailored to each of the wings in Eldora, who doesn't even use it, makes it feel cheap. It would have made more sense if they were just generic and identical wands, but changed to suit their individual owners. Why should they even have to prove themselves in front of the wands? I'll let Aisha explain why this is absolute.
We have fought against every monster there is. I think we've proven something.
The transformation sequences are just awful. Just a bunch of pointless spinning and unnatural blinking. The CGI is just hideous and just makes the sequences a lot more unbearable. The song is great, but I do prefer the prototype by Elisa Rosselli. Also, the time limit rule is just stupid, and it would make more sense if they couldn't leave until they finish the story that they're in. A truly terrible form, and rightfully deserves to be the most hated Winx Club transformation. The only thing that kept this from being at the bottom is the fact that it's not in 3D, and thank Poseidon for that because it would just be horrifying. I will start off with some things I like first before I get into why this meme of a transformation is so awful. The wings are really pretty. I love the shoes and bracelets. The makeup looks cool, and the hairstyles are gorgeous, especially Aisha's. The thing that's killing the look are the actual outfits themselves. The outfits are uniform, tacky, hideous, and childish looking. Apart from Techna's dress, they all look the same apart from different colors. These outfits actually look cute on the wings when they're turned into toddlers because of how the outfits are childish. They look cute on kids, but ridiculous on adults and teenagers. I'm not even that upset about Roxy not getting the form, despite doing just as much as the wings and being the fairy of animals. Why? Because that just means she's not stuck in these hideous as Tartarus outfits. Plus, what was the point of the butterfly theme when they don't even interact with butterflies in any way? It would work better as a fauna-themed transformation. The spells, apart from Aisha's horrendously made magical water hug, are just horrible. Butterflix doesn't allow the wings to do offensive attacks because it can't harm any part of nature, which is everything. This could have been interesting, making the girls think critically about how to fight evil, but it just makes them useless. There's no reason for it to exist when they have Sofix for the power of nature. The song is okay, but the transformations are basic, and that cursed meme dance they do at the end is just unforgivable, especially since they plagiarized it from K-pop dances. I'm not even surprised. This form is truly pathetic and is a visual representation of everything wrong with the newer seasons of Winx Club, though it's still better than any of the fashion in Fate the Winx saga. I know that the Sirenix stands are gonna come for me, but I'm evil, so I don't care, and even if I did, I can delete your rude comments. Anyway, I'll start with some good things. The transformation song is the best of all of the transformation songs, and one of the best songs in the franchise. I also like the lore behind it being a cursed and ancient form, while the 3D is hideous. I do love that the transformations do feel very vibrant, individualized, and show off the girls' individual powers and personalities, although that wing that Stella does is just nightmare fuel. Other than that, this form sucks. The designs are absolutely hideous. The choppy high ponytails across the board, the same identical ugly wings that look like they were chopped up with scissors, the ugly skirts, and the nearly identical swimsuits. Neo Sirenix from Season 8 is a major upgrade, with more individualized looks, but isn't anything special, although I do think Crystal Sirenix is really pretty. Anyway, who thought that this was a visual upgrade from Harmonix? The only one who looks somewhat decent is Aisha, until they gave her yellow hair, and yeah, the hair color changes are awful apart from Flora and Musa. Daphne's form is the best because her hair is just gorgeous. I also wish that Stella's color palette was more lunar inspired because of how there is a strong connection between the water and the moon, but no, just keep her in her standard orange color. I personally think that Sirenix should have been a form that turned the girls into mermaids, which is what I did with my redesigns of Sirenix. That would have been infinitely more interesting and compelling than what we actually got. Not to mention the spells are just a bunch of generic beams, and none of them are very memorable apart from a few. The transformations in 2D have janky movements because of the wonky puppet animation, but they are at least colorful, energized, and show off the girls' individual powers. Plus, I love Musa coffee grinding. Not to mention, they don't do anything with the curse angle. It's more that the ancestral witches curse Daphne and Politeia rather than the actual Sirenix form, which makes this form really horrible in terms of lore, and a waste of a perfectly good concept. Overall, a visually ugly form that is a major letdown. This is where we get to the forms that I'm mixed on. Tynix is definitely uniform with the outfits, but I don't think it looks bad. While they definitely look like they have been attacked with a bedazzled gun, it still looks pretty. I love the wings and hairstyles, though Flora's hair coloring is way too light. My favorite is definitely Ayesha. She looks amazing. Yes, the outfits could definitely look better, and do make the girls low-key look like they're flat-chested. Am I the only one who noticed that? Which makes the girls look more childish looking, which I guess suits the childishness of the season. But the form is not bad looking. The song is absolutely gorgeous. Yes, the lyrics are kind of lacking, but Elisa's vocals are just so angelic that it makes it one of the best transformation songs. I'd share it, but of course, copyright. The transformations are also stunning with the diamond theme and the girls posing like supermodels. But I must say, the fairy animals glow up is infinitely superior to Tynix. The spells aren't anything special, and there isn't much in the way of conflict when they go into the mini-worlds. Besides, I feel like Enchantix would have worked for this because of how they can miniaturize, but that's just me trying to make sense out of a season's plot that has no plot. Overall, a form that is visually acceptable, but nothing special. Besides, acceptable should not be the standard. It's clear that World of Wings really just embraced the whole uniform outfits idea. The outfits don't look bad, but they are pretty much the same with slight differences, but the differences are not enough to individualize them. The song is great, and so are the transformations. The hairstyles are gorgeous, and I do prefer them over the hairstyles of Dreamix. The wings are also great, but do feel like a downgrade from Dreamix. Lastly, while the outfits are too similar in uniform, I do appreciate the color swaps, even though I do wish that some color swaps were different. I personally think that Bloom should have been in red because of her fire powers, and we've never really seen her in red all that much. Yusa should have been in purple because she looks great in purple, and we've already seen her in red because that's her main color. And I think Ayesha should have been in pink because of her Morphix. I even did an edit where I recolored them and fixed the whitewashing of Flora and Ayesha. Stop whitewashing because it's so annoying! Anyway, well, I would have preferred those color swaps, as well as Flora and Ayesha not being whitewashed. I do love the color swaps. I love Stella in the moon-inspired silvery blue. Flora looks amazing in forest green. I love Tekna in the electric green. Ayesha looks gorgeous in purple. Musa always looks incredible in red, and I'm one of the few people who actually loves Bloom in pink. What can I say? I'm a sucker for redheads in the color pink. So while it's nothing special, I do appreciate it for the color swaps, which is definitely this form's biggest appeal, and it at least looks nice. I consider Dreamix to be marginally better than Onyrix because while the outfits are still uniform, they at least are a little bit more individualized. Plus, I adore the wings, which are some of the best from Winx Club. I've always been someone who thought Bloom should have been in red or yellow instead of blue because of how no one really associates blue with fire, especially not her typical shade of blue. Yes, I know that blue is the hottest fire, but they don't even use the right shade of blue for that. However, Dreamix actually used the right shade of blue for that because of how it's not an ocean blue and it has a purplish tint to it like the blue in a flame actually has. The song and transformations are also incredibly gorgeous and fittingly dreamlike. The hairstyles of Bloom, Stella, and Flora kind of look too similar to each other in my opinion, but they definitely look gorgeous. So it's another look that is nice and acceptable, but nothing special. Season 8 has a lot of problems, including the new art style and the whitewashing of Flora and Ayesha. However, Cosmix is one of the few highlights. While it's nothing phenomenal, the outfits are definitely cute, and at least are more individualized than Butterflix, Sirenix, Tynix, Onyrix, and Dreamix. Although it's funny that Stella, the fairy of the sun and moon, would be given probably the least noteworthy look from this space-themed transformation. My favorites are definitely Ayesha and Tekna. kinda. I do hate how they all have the same wings, although the wings do look nice. The song is catchy, but nothing special, and it gets old really quick. And the transformations are too quick and don't show off the girls' powers and personalities. Also, the girls have traveled all over the magical universe, but they need a space-themed transformation. Y'all could just go back to Bloomix, the power born of the almighty dragon flame, a cosmic entity that created the whole magical universe. But whatever. What made me really like these forms was when I saw fan art by Elseherd, boy I hope I'm pronouncing that right, where Cosmix is in the original art style, which makes it infinitely more appealing than how it looks now. So, it's a good form, but nothing phenomenal. A form that I love, but I'm also really torn on. I mean, it's definitely a downgrade to Enchantix. The powers being based on the belief of magic isn't really well done, and the wings are ridiculous looking. And I don't care much for the whole civilian fashion thing. However, this form is so undeniably iconic that I can't help but love it. While the outfits have issues, such as putting Flora in boots that clash with her outfit, they are still really cute. The best one is definitely Techna, followed by Flora. The only outfits I'm not as fond of are Bloom and especially Stella. Plus, I'm not a fan of how lazy they got with Flora, Stella, and Aisha's hair. They just used Aisha's standard hairstyle and Flora and Stella's Enchantix hair, only less appealing. Also, the wings are ridiculously huge and look too gaudy and paper-like. I know I'm dumping a lot on this, but I still love it. The outfits, while they have their problems, are great. The song is undeniably iconic and one of the best transformation songs. The transformation sequences are absolutely the best of all the transformations, and while the spells are generic beams, they have amazing spell names.
Techno Shock, Solar Storm, Angel Hurricane, Dragon Heart.
The special wings, while they look better than the actual Believix wings, are utterly pointless, don't give individual designs for the girls, and the transformations for just the wings take too long. Selfix looks more visually appealing apart from Stella's, which looks awful. The song for it is gorgeous, however, they definitely could have done better with the designs with a flower theme for each girl. But the wings, while still ridiculously big, are pretty and don't look so busy. But it's a shame that Flora doesn't have the best Selfix look because of how she's the fairy of nature. But I do like these looks, apart from Stella's. My favorites are Musa and Bloom. Lovix, while clearly not practical, and is more visually appealing than Believix, and the wings look really pretty. This is actually their best looks. I wish this is what their wings look like. Plus the transformations are so stunning. In my version of Winx Club, Believix is pretty much what Charmix was. It was their second transformation form that they earned before Enchantix, and they earned it by overcoming a personal struggle. I mean, the lyrics do say, Believix, you're magical. All you have to do is believe in yourself, and everything will change. You got the power. Sounds better when Elisa Borselli is singing it, but you know, copyright. And I made sure the designs weren't so dated. Again, I know I'm dumping a lot on Believix, but I do love it, and it's just so iconic. But it still could have been better. It's pretty funny, but not surprising, that the base Magic Winx form outranked most of the quote-unquote higher-level forms. These outfits may be more simple than other forms, but they are still gorgeous and are individualized for each girl. My favorite is, of course, Flora's. Her Magic Winx is just perfect. They suit each girl and the world that they come from, but still manage to make sure the girls look like they are part of a unit. The transformation sequences are iconic. The transformation song sung by Lucia in Season 1 is amazing, and the spells are very diverse since they had 3 seasons to shine instead of just 1. In my redesigns, I tried to make the outfits more detailed and display their individual powers. While I still love the original outfits, I also really love how mine turned out. This form is iconic, and it's no wonder it's so beloved, but there are 3 forms that are just more visually gorgeous. The only problem with Harmonix is that plot-wise, it doesn't have a reason to exist, though that could have been solved with the Nature's Key thing. Other than that, it's amazing. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love how the hairstyles, except for Techna's, are ponytails like mermaid tails. It really adds to the aquatic theme. The outfits feel both like the ocean waves and like mermaid tails. The outfits look similar, but not to the point of being too uniform. They are individualized enough, but still look like they are part of a unit. Blondes look awful in yellow, and Stella is no exception, but the pale yellow really suits her far better. But I do still wish that her color was more lunar inspired. Yes, we have Bloom and Blue, but they could have made her color red or even yellow to have her powers in this form be more volcanic themed than just fire themed. Harmonix has the best collection of spells, especially Muse's spells, which is surprising since she always seems to get the short and the stick when it comes to spells. The song, while lacking in lyrics, is still great. The transformations, while they don't show the girls' individual personalities and powers, are still visually gorgeous, and the dresses flowing all around them like waves is just incredible. A truly amazing form that didn't get the respect it deserved in the show with how short-lived it was. Sirenix, eat your heart out. Now this feels like an ancient and powerful form worthy of something like Sirenix, better than the actual Sirenix. This is a form that is benefiting from pretty privilege. Don't get me wrong, it has lackluster spells, a mediocre song, which is the worst song of all the transformations, a horrible name, and was earned in such a terrible way, especially backflips. However, these designs are just so gorgeous that I can't help but absolutely adore them to death. Apart from a few issues like 3 out of 6 of the girls being in blue, I mean, 2 in blue is fine enough, but half of the girls in blue, that just, no. Stella's awful hairstyle, the coloring of Aisha's hair, and Musa being in purple instead of red. Because, I mean, we don't have to worry about Bloom being in red, so why not put Musa in her signature red? That way, Techna could also be in purple, so we would have solved that issue of 3 out of 6 of the girls being in blue, and I am droning on. Anyway, the sad part is that this form could have been the next Enchantix, and maybe even surpass Enchantix had it been handled better. It's actually even more visually beautiful than Enchantix for the most part. In my redesigns of Bloomix, which I renamed Draconix, I gave the girls not only a few color swaps and design changes, but I also came up with new ways for the girls to earn it. Bloom earned it by destroying the frozen remains of Domino and losing her chance of bringing back her birth parents and the population of Domino in order to stop the ancestral witches from getting any more of the power of the dragon flame that could be within the planet. Techna earned it by using her wits to destroy a deadly virus and save her planet when she didn't even have her powers. Flora had to create a potion to stop a poison from destroying her planet under the horrible pressure that if she fails, everyone on her planet, including her parents and her sister, would die. Musa had to give up the chance to bring her mother back to life with an ancient artifact where all she had to do was kill the one she hated most, Darcy, and instead destroyed this taboo artifact. Stella had to put her anger and pride aside to trust and work with Chimera to save all of Stellaria from the Blood Moon, which could have killed the entire planet. And Aisha almost died saving her home world of Andros from a deadly sea serpent called the Blood Serpent by nearly drowning and not having her powers. And just so you know, none of them had their powers during these events. Those are actual brave and noble acts worthy of a fairy, not stupid stuff like saving your sister again when she easily could have saved herself, putting a petty fight aside to work together, and stupid backflips. The way Bloom earned hers was cool, but the rest are unacceptable. The wings are the best of all the Winx Club wings apart from the Bloomix prototype wings. Speaking of prototypes, the Bloomix prototype song by Elisa Rosselli is leagues better than the final version. I'm not a fan of the robotic vocal effects, but it's still epic and fitting of a mythical warrior aesthetic. Blooms is actually my favorite of these designs, and it's one of the cases where I don't mind her being in blue because this is supposed to be her at her ultimate power, and the blue is the correct shade for once. Plus, the red would clash with her absolutely gorgeous shade of Ariel red hair. So this is the best of the post-Season 3 transformations solely for its designs and potential. No one is surprised. Forever, Enchantix will reign supreme. The designs are gorgeous, individualized, but still work as a unit, and the way each of the girls earn it is amazing. That is, except for Bloom, just telling the rules to go themselves, which could have been fixed with having her earn it by saving her adopted parents. I mean, I prefer if her birth parents and the population of Dominoes stayed dead, and Bloom realizing that her home world is Earth. But whatever. The designs are so gorgeous, especially Flora and Aisha, though I prefer the blue version of Aisha's outfit, fight me. My only issue with the design is Muso has pigtails like she always has and should have been given a new hairstyle. I do also prefer the prototype outfit that Bloom had and the prototype hairstyle that Stella had, but that's beside the point. These looks are gorgeous, have great spells, beautiful transformation sequences that are individualized, and an amazing song. I wish Lucia had actually gone to sing an English version. No offense to Yasmin, but her voice is inferior to Lucia. The movie version of the song by Elisa is great, but I wish it didn't replace the TV version post-Season 3. The 4Kids version of it is heavenly as well. The best version of the song is definitely the Italian version, especially the extended version by Lucia. Lastly, I will share my redesigns of Enchantix, and I would like to think I did justice to Enchantix. It's certainly way better than what they did in Season 8 with those tacky redesigns. And there you have it. That was my ranking of the different transformation forms of Winx Club. Don't worry, I'm gonna do some non-Winx Club related content to keep things from getting stale. I say as if people around here actually cared. So what do you guys think? Did you agree with any of my rankings? What are your rankings of the Winx Club transformations? Let me know in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. You can also follow me on my other social media accounts in the links below. By doing so, you can also learn more specific details about my version of Winx Club, which I do recommend, especially since I tried to fix undeveloped parts of the show, like them not doing anything with Helia being Saladin's grandson, and try to improve already great things about the show. Anyway, I'm the Wicked Merman from Under the Sea.